I have these big goals that I've set, like selling my own series to Netflix. And along the way, you just chip away at smaller goals, which was like, I had to start a YouTube channel, which I had been neglecting forever. So I finally started that, and I'm having so much fun. And like, it's just, when you have those big goals, you just start chipping along and see where it takes you. So
okay, so let me get this straight then. Your big goal has been to sell a series to Netflix.
I wasted years of therapy. I could have just come on this podcast.
You probably got more info out of celebrities than anyone else.
In my private life, I was living a nightmare.
This was definitely no stock podcast.
I think we ought to do this every week now.
You wanted to kind of do the opposite of what Zac was doing. So like, why did you think you wanted to do the opposite?
I was just so different than my brother growing up. Like I was in so many organized sports because I just had so much energy, and like I was physical and tall for my age. So it was like my parents just were like, all right, let this kid run around and tire himself out. So I think just we were so different growing up. He was always drawn to plays and movies, and I was just like wanting to wrestle with my friends. So
yeah, that makes sense.
I think we were like inherently different, and it's cool to see how our completely different paths have kind of come full circle. And now we're super close and doing very similar careers, and it's cool. But I think the biggest key for me was knowing that I don't have to be an actor, and like I don't think I would be a great actor. Like I think it would be an incredible experience to act, but now there's this world where you can be yourself on camera, and I think that was something that wasn't really available when I first thought of this industry. And I can totally be myself on camera like that. I have no issue with that. It's more like, I don't know how to play someone else. I can play myself, but Zac's incredible as an actor. He can tell him to show this emotion, he's going to do it. Like for me, put me in a funny situation, I'm going to laugh. So we're doing very different things. He's so skilled at his skill set, but like we can all be on camera and as a host, or like show our authentic selves. And I think that was the big key for me.
And I don't think that's natural for everybody either, to be able to be authentic like that on camera. You know, I think the camera makes a lot of people freeze up, which probably you thought it would be for you, but then you realize actually no. But I do think I don't know if it's a skill or a natural thing or whatever, but I don't think anybody can easily be authentic.
Yeah, for sure. And I still get nervous and shy, and it never goes away or anything. So
yeah,
you get better at it the more you do it. It's like anything.
Right, for sure. So all right, so let's talk about so you have all these different series, really. Like there's so many of them. So the Netflix show, you were producer on the Netflix show, right?
Yeah,
I see your name in the credits.
Yeah, and there were so many more producers that did so much more. Like Michael Simkin, this project was totally his baby. He's my brother. He's been working for my brother for 10 plus years, and he's the mastermind behind this story. But I was there to help however I could, and it was so fun to work on. And I think my key role is mostly the fact that I think I have tastes that are very similar to my brother, so I could tell what my brother would want to do, what he wouldn't want to do, and I could help kind of be that medium of like, look, I'm the youngest person on this set, so like I'm from the perspective of a millennial, and I think this would work. I don't think it'll work. I know Zac won't want to do that. I know he will want to do this. So mine was more like on the ground producing, where so many other producers were like the ones that made this show happen. They sold it to Netflix. They figured out which countries we're going to, and more along. I was along for the ride on that stuff. So
well, that's not a bad ride to be along for. I'll tell you what. Like I watched most of them. I think there are maybe 2 that I haven't seen yet, but it's such a great show. It's called Down to Earth, and like with Zac Efron, right?
Yeah, Down to Earth with Zac Efron.
Yeah. Down to Earth, right? And so that just came out recently on Netflix. Yeah. And I have to tell you, the first person who told me about it. So I interview people mostly from TV and movies. Do you watch Cobra Kai by chance?
Oh, no, that's on my to watch list.
Okay. So one of the stars of Cobra Kai was like, I'm obsessed with this show. It's a great show. And so I watched it. So it's a great show. But anyway, as I was saying, so you got to go along for the ride with this. So when were they actually filmed? Were you gone all the time? And what was like the order of everything?
Yeah, so we actually filmed Down to Earth first, and then we went and filmed some Off the Grid episodes. Actually, those were about simultaneously. They were doing Off the Grid simultaneously, like maybe one episode before, and then some as soon as we got back from Down to Earth.
That's interesting. So like, did you sell it? Did they sell it to Netflix then before or after?
So it was a unique deal with Netflix, and they had already sold the show before we'd filmed it. So it just took a year of editing and stuff like that before it was released. So I think
That's
they were
what I
waiting.
figured.
Yeah. So it was done, and they were just sitting on it for like a year, I feel like, and then finally they released it. So it was one of those things that was like in the bank, and just no one had seen it for a little while.
Got it. Okay. So then when were you filming? And then when were you filming Flow State? Like, what's the...
Yeah, Flow State was like...
Okay, just to be... Let's also, before you answer that, I'll cut you
Okay.
off. Let's make sure everybody knows what Flow State is. So Flow State is brand new. You've had 2 episodes so far, but by the time this airs, I don't know how many you will have. This is your YouTube show.
Yeah, so it's on my YouTube channel, which is just youtube.com/Dylan Efron. And it's my first series that I'm the host. So essentially it's just going on adventures and getting to know people. So essentially it's getting to know people through adventures. So I've noticed in my life, like the strongest connections I form are when I'm off the grid with someone and there's no cell phone near us, or there's no like distractions, and we're completely immersed in the activity, scared or excited. All those things is when you really get to know someone. And so I figured on this show, like, let's take someone, get out of our comfort zones, and really get to know that person and have fun. And that's what Flow State's all about, is getting to know my guest and me through different adventures. And normally something thrilling or exciting, stuff like that. Something
like
we've never done
climbing,
before.
right?
Yeah, rock climbing, speed flying, spear fishing, every random sport there is.
So, okay, so you were filming the other shows. You're filming the Netflix show, and you're filming Zac's YouTube show with you.
Yeah.
Right. So it's really both of you. And then you decided to do your own.
Yeah, that's the order.
That's the order. Okay. That's what I figured. And so you're like basically a YouTuber now. Big.
Yeah. No, not a big YouTuber, but the people have been doing YouTube for so long. So I've mostly been on Instagram and just started my YouTube channel. And I think it was just the next step for me to, like, I have these big goals that I've set, like selling my own series to Netflix. And along the way, you just chip away at smaller goals, which was like, I had to start a YouTube channel, which I had been neglecting forever. So I finally started that, and I'm having so much fun. And like, it's just, when you have those big goals, you just start chipping along and see where it takes you. So
okay, so let me get this straight then. Your big goal has been to sell a series to Netflix.
Yeah, my own series.
Yes, your own series. I totally get that.
So much of this is like, if you believe in what you're doing and the messages you're portraying, you just want people to see it. And it's not like, if that's the goal, is like, I just want as many people to see this message as possible, because I think it might make them happy, or it might help the world in some way. Like, that's the end goal. And right now that power is in those streaming platforms. That's how you can get the most views on something. So
for sure. Okay, so you put the goal out for yourself, and then tell me about what those steps are. Like, what's your breakdown?
Yeah, so it started with filming my own first series, which was Flow State, and that came about with. I grew up on the Central Coast of California, and there's a beer company that started out there called Firestone Walker Brewing, and I told them about this show, and they were like, "All right, like, we want to partner with you. Let's make this happen." So, with their help, we started this first series, and I think that was my first step to becoming a host, because like, I'm not going to sell something to Netflix if I'm not proven and I haven't sharpened the skill. Right. So this was really like, let's sharpen the skill of hosting in the thing that's most you ever. It's like, this is what I grew up doing. I'm just literally having fun with friends. It's like, if I can't do this, then I definitely can't host a series about something I don't know about, or like something else. Like, so this was like my first step. This show is exactly who I am. It's what I grew up doing, going on crazy adventures with my friends. So
Okay, so whose idea was it then? Like, did you talk to these beer guys or what? What's the story?
yeah, I had the idea, and I didn't have the means of executing it right away, just because I was like, I knew how to film it for cheap because I had been doing this for my brother's channel, and I had been doing it like Off the Grid and all these other shows. So I knew how to do it, but I also knew I needed some help, and Firestone was right there. And it was like, I just gave them the pitch, and they're like, this sounds awesome. We love the ties to Central Coast. Like, let's just make this happen. So
Yeah, it's a perfect fit, obviously, for both of you.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. I think they're stoked with how it turned out. So
Are they? What'd they tell you?
Yeah. I just think I don't know. I know that, like, for the amount of money we put into this, the quality and the stories we tell and the meaning behind it is pretty powerful.
I noticed also in the Netflix show that there are 2 sponsors per show, right? That are like,
for sure.
Visa, I see it in there, and what's the other one?
TripAdvisor.
TripAdvisor.
Yeah, there's a bunch that's good. You only see 2.
Right.
There's a bunch.
Are there more than that in each episode?
Yeah, because
Here.
that's a good way to get the funding to make these shows happen. Because like you said, like, I'm not looking for Netflix to sell a show to Netflix for their money. Like, there's other ways to find money for production. I'm not greedy and trying to make millions of dollars off this. Like, the reason I want to sell a show to Netflix is the viewership.
Yeah.
So the way to make things for me right now is through sponsorships and through creative collaborations with brands and stuff like that. So
that's so interesting too, because I was like, it's so weird to see, not weird, but like, I don't feel like that's what you normally see on a Netflix show, is that you see the sponsors right in the show. That's another reason I was like, oh, I wonder if it was filmed before, but it wasn't. So that was all part of the deal.
Yeah. And I don't think it's very traditional for Netflix to do that, like you said, but I think it worked in that situation. So
do you have a long list of like things that you want to cover?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Like what?
One we were talking about is shark diving. I really want to go swim with the sharks in Hawaii. Yeah, there's so many more. I can't give them all away though.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Tell me about fame. So are you getting recognized at all now? Like, do you still kind of, I know that there was like, people know that you're Zac Efron's brother at a minimum, right? And now you have your own show. So back to my question. So do you get recognized? People think like, who are you? Do we know you?
Yeah, definitely. Especially because of like where I live. Like it seems like I shouldn't live here because it's like a lot of nice people, and they see like a 20-year-old like what's this guy doing here? So like I definitely think I get noticed, and for me, I'm just I think I've been exposed to it so much, and it's never what I've like. I think a lot of people seek fame, and that's never been something I wanted, or like out of any of this stuff. I'm more like trying to tell stories and stuff like that. So I've seen the highs and lows of fame, and luckily I haven't experienced any of those lows personally. So I think I'm such a small fry in this, that like if someone recognizes me, it's more like, oh, that's that kid. It's not like, hey, can I have an autograph or anything? So
right. I kind of feel like I get the sense from you that you would not want to be famous even. Or am I wrong?
Yeah, it's definitely not something like, it's not a goal of mine. Absolutely not. Because I think a lot of the freedoms that I crave in life might go away if you're too famous. And I've seen that with just friends of mine and my brother and stuff like that, how difficult it can be. And I think a lot of people, like I even saw a quote from Jim Carrey the other day that was like, I wish everyone could be famous so then they could realize that's not what they want. And I saw that. I was like, it's true. It's like, there's so many cool things that can come along with being an actor or being a host or all that stuff. But of all those things, fame is not the thing to strive for.
It's so interesting when you mentioned Jim Carrey. It reminds me also, like when we were talking about your big dream and like how to get to your dream. Did you ever hear the story about him where when he was I don't know if he was a struggling actor or comedian, I'm not sure how he got started, but he had the big goal that he wanted to make it big. And I don't know if it was that he wanted to be famous or not, because that would be kind of interesting too, because that would have been a goal. And then he has this insight now that he is famous, right? And he dreamed of really making it big, and he wrote himself a check when he was super poor and unknown.
Yep. This was from his graduation speech, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you did hear this?
I've heard this. Yeah. I love Jim Carrey. He's the best.
So what did he made out a check to himself for, like, a few $1 million or something like that, right?
Yeah, I think it was $1 million. Yeah, I think it was $1 million. He wrote it to himself. But did he end up cashing it? I forgot there's a moral to the story. I don't think so, but I
think the point was that he believed in himself. He was like, I'm going to do it. And by writing himself a check, it was like, it helped him believe it. And then if you believe it, you can make it happen.
Absolutely.
That kind of thing.
Absolutely. And that's why we're like, how we started this podcast was like, you set those big goals, and then along the way, whether you reach that big goal or not, you're going to knock off so many great goals along the way. That maybe you never sold that show to Netflix, but you started your own channel, you hosted a few series, like stuff like that. Like, you're going to achieve amazing things when you set your goals high.
Totally.
I think it was, I forgot who it was, but it was like a perfect example was like Elon Musk, when he first got into the space industry, was like, we're going to Mars. And like, by doing that, it's like, well, now going to the moon's super easy. It's like all these things. It's like, how are we ever going to get to Mars if we can't get to the moon? So it's like, by setting that massive goal, it's like all this other stuff's so attainable now. Like, going back to that fame question, it's just like, there's so many positives that can go with that fame and influence, and like just the ability to connect with people and see cultures, and there's so many positives, but focusing on like the getting recognized and stuff, that's not the positives.
Right.
Like, the positives are the opportunities that arise with being able to share those stories with people and connections you have. So
yeah, it reminds me of that scene in, I think you guys were in Sardinia, maybe, and all the girls showed up or whatever.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was so funny.
Yeah, I've played bodyguard more than once for Zac.
That's so, I mean, I guess that gets old though, right? I mean, it has to get old.
For sure. Yeah, like, it's so awesome that people want to connect with Zac. So like, he's so thankful for it. But then it's like, there's times where you're like, no, I just want to go read a book, and then something like that would happen. So it's like, yeah, it's never something to get worked up about. And like, I've worked with actors who are equally as famous, if not more famous than Zac. And like, I've seen how they've handled it. And like, Will Ferrell was so cool to watch how he interacted with people. He took photos with everyone and was so positive. And like, it was definitely annoying to him. Like, he was trying to play basketball, but he was never going to show that to a fan, because it means so much to him that he has fans. So it was just like, of course I can take this 2 seconds to take a photo. And like, he took photos with thousands of people, like, after he was sweaty from playing basketball with us the entire day. So it was like, it's so something to be so thankful for and cherish. And like, hopefully you don't get too bitter or anything like that from it.
So if you were to name like 2 or 3 people who you look up to, who you're like, that is like a good person that I sort of want to emulate, who are they?
Yeah, I think an unorthodox answer for that is actually, I think Justin Bieber is someone who's like so impressive to me. And I think it's just like my brother, he's been in spotlight since he was 10 years old or whatever. And I think that can be so hard for someone that, especially at a young age, when they're still trying to figure out life, and it's having your world just like on TV since that age is so hard. But you can see the learning curves that he's gone through, and like where he's at now, and that growth that he's done, and like how you can tell he's trying to make an impact and trying to better people's lives and trying to be a good person. And like, I think it's so respectable what he's doing. And like, the fact that he's acknowledging that he's never been perfect his whole life. He's had his hiccups along the way, but he's trying his hardest now to be that person he wants to be. Amazing.